Man, hey, this is I know you was on the show before, but I wanted you back on because the last time you were here, we really were just talking sports and
Right, right.
giving our opinion about everything and anything, but we never got your story.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
here's the deal, Agee. We probably got, I mean, literally, with all due respect, probably the second most famous man in all of basketball. I mean, if we won't go pound for pound, I know people go LeBron, MJ. They go. I'm like, no, there's Mike, and then there's Leroy Smith.
That's
Because
too
what,
good.
hey, it's the truth. Because what many don't know, and they will today,
Right, right.
because on the Agee Engage podcast show today, we have the most famous name in basketball history, the man that I can legitimately say shut down Michael Jordan.
Shut him down.
Shut him down, took him out, put him on the sideline, made
Well,
him eat his
it's a-
Wheaties.
Hey,
Yeah.
Will, it's another dude named Smith, too, that stopped Michael Jordan. His first name is Dean Smith.
Dude.
Well, listen, we can't
Talk
count
about
Dean
that
because
AG.
Dean gave him that free money. So we
Yeah.
can't count Dean. When they give you free money.
Yeah.
And there's another Smith that actually thought he stopped Mike. His name was LeBradford Smith, but we ain't talking about that one either.
When you gonna put him on blast?
That's right. We're going to put him on blast. We're talking about Leroy Smith, the man who, in all accounts, was the motivating factor of the greatness of Michael Jordan that we see today. So we want to welcome again back to the show to get his story, to get his truth on this famous story, because Leroy, we've heard so many
versions of it.
variations of this, man. It's like crazy,
Yeah, man.
But welcome to the show again.
Man, I'm so
Smith.
pleased to be here. I appreciate you guys, man. It's always a pleasure to be on the Gates and AG and Gates show podcast, man. You guys are legends. Man, I've watched, like I said, I've watched Hoop Dreams. I don't know how many times, man, and it was a motivating factor. And so not only my life, but so many other players' lives, man, to see the grind that you guys put in there, man. And hey, we got some great stories from you guys too now. I was talking to some people. They hit me up with some stories I didn't know about you guys. So that's another podcast. But yeah,
That's
man.
another podcast. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I really do, man. It's amazing
listen,
that this
man.
story still has legs.
Well, listen, take us, man, take us to your childhood, because you grew up,
Yeah.
Well, late
I'm
60s, middle 70s.
Yeah, man. I'm a Philly product. I was born in Philadelphia. And yeah, man, West Philly, off 54th and Girard. Whoop,
Born
whoop.
and raised.
Born and raised. And if I would have stayed there and went to high school, I would have went to the world famous Overbrook High School.
Really?
Wilt Chamberlain, all that stuff, man. And all the players that came out of Philly. We moved to North Carolina probably, in the early 70s. My folks got us out of there, and it was probably one of the best moves we ever did, because growing up in the city, you don't even understand what it is to be in the city, in the hood, and have gang wars and different type of things going on. It was everyday life for us. But my folks grew up in the South, so they were like, listen, we're gonna get our kids up out of here. And we stopped in North Carolina, man, and little did I know what was going to transpire, because I wasn't a baller leaving Philadelphia. I probably was like in the fifth grade, I think, when we moved to North Carolina, and everybody was playing sports in the Carolinas. Football, baseball, basketball. I wasn't playing none of that, and it was.
Hold on. Time out.
Yeah, man.
So Leroy, every time I got a question, I'm gonna throw the basketball.
Yeah. Hit me with the time out.
How you grew up in West Philly?
Yeah, man.
And you ain't hooping.
Yeah.
I mean, the famous Will Smith with his theme song,
absolutely,
showing cats hooping on the playground. I mean, how did you escape that?
It was wild, because where I lived on the street, I lived Sickle Street. I remember like it was yesterday, 651 North Sickle Street was my address. Not there anymore. It's a parking lot or something now, but that's where I grew up. And around the corner, they had like a little park for the kids, and I was in that park. And then like the next block over was the Hoopers out there on the court. But I was at that age and my mom was like, hey, you go to the end of the block. I better be able to see you. And when the lights come on, you better be getting your hips home. So I could never get to the park that far over to the park. So I used to just be on that little stretch of block, man, up and down the street with some of the other little homies that I grew up with and never got to, play hoops like that. And what's funny is when I got to North Carolina, like I said, some of the guys I was growing up with at that time, even before I knew Mike, were football players, sandlot football, little stick ball, all that type of stuff. And we weren't even near a hoop court. So I didn't really get turned on to hoops
Ah.
until I got to 8th grade. And that was like the first time. Shout out to Coach Boylan. He was the one that was like, listen, you pretty tall. You should play basketball. I was like, listen, man, I never even touched a basketball. I don't even know the first thing about, what's
How,
going on with this
how
sport.
tall was you in 8th grade?
I wasn't the tallest kid because there was a kid named James Doppy. He was like 6'1", 6'2". So I probably was like 5'11", maybe 6 foot. You
Damn.
know, yeah. I was a big, tall, skinny kid, and Coach Bowling really got me into basketball, and just started playing and things like that. Now, in between that, in the 7th grade, a lot of kids play ball on the playground and things like that. That's when I first, met MJ. We went to lived in different neighborhoods, and he rode the bus in, I rode the bus in, but we didn't really know each other like that. And then when we got to 8th grade, it was a new 8th grade school next to the new high school, which was Laney. And
Mhm.
we started playing hoops 8th grade together at Trask Elementary. And Coach Boland was the coach and things like that. And again, we weren't really friends. It was these two 8th grade kids, 13, however old you are, just kind of hanging out with all the other guys. We didn't really start connecting until I'd say the summer before our 9th grade year. That's when we went to start playing at DC Virgo was our 9th grade year playing together and starting to hoop and things like that. And again, I lived in one neighborhood, hadn't moved out towards Laney yet. So I was like in the city in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I walked to school then and they were getting bussed in. And
Mm.
it was that's when we started to really connect. That's when like a crew of us were stuck together from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, all the way through our senior year. So we became friends then. And then I moved out into the neighborhood in a place called Castleham, like a little suburb of Wilmington. And at that point, that's when we started going to these camps in the little area and things. And, that's when the whole story started when we were before our 10th grade year, we went to this camp between our 9th and 10th grade year in the summer at New Hanover High School. And that's when we met our coach, the late Pop Heron. And that's when he was like, listen, I want you two guys to come to, when you get to Laney, come and try out for the varsity. Now, here's
Oh,
two
wow.
9th graders, or I guess we 14, 15 at that time. And we're like, yo, we go try out for the varsity. Because at that time, 10th graders played JV. That was just automatic. And then juniors and seniors were on the varsity team. And Mike Mike was a little kid, man. He was slim, maybe 5'9", maybe. I probably was like 6'2" at the time, but super skinny. And I think I'm about a year, maybe a year and a half into basketball. So I'm still trying to learn not only the game, but to learn my body all over the place and try to get in control. Now, Mike had been playing baseball, football, all this type of stuff. So he had that hand-eye coordination, but he was just slight of build, like in the 9th grade. And then by the time we got to the 10th grade for tryouts, I probably was like 6'4". I mean, I just had a growth spurt,
Wow.
just like boom, just shot up.
Wow.
But I'm still this, about 160 pounds wet, what I mean, this tall, but I'm the biggest kid in school. And
Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
probably was like 5'10", maybe 5'11". I'm not really sure, but we were stacked with guards. We had,
Which most high schools are.
yeah, we
Stacked with
stacked with
guard.
guards, but we got no big guys. And we tried out, and the way it goes is coaches made that decision, like, hey, here's a dude that's the biggest dude in school, got some potential. We can work with this. We stack with guards.
Mm.
MJ was thrashing people, still slight of bill. So the bigger guys, David, I forget his last name, David McGee. David McGee was probably 6'2". you know, 185, 190. So he putting that body on MJ and everything like that. So M was still a little slim. And then so I made the squad, and Mike played on JV, and that's when it all started, and unbeknownst to me, he internalized that and became who we see today, the great Jordan, you know what I mean? And it's funny what motivates you as a kid or as a player,
Absolutely.
and how you internalize all those things. And man, I was just stoked to be on the team. Quiet as
Yeah.
kept, years later, I would have wished I would have played JV, because I think I would have developed a lot more. You know what I mean? With our kids, with the JV team and things. And but at that time, I was just stoked to be on the team. You're growing crazy. You're on this basketball team at the time was pretty good our sophomore year. And then our junior year, that's when we started taking off. And that's when M started like developing. He grew, started getting stronger, and is just starting to come into his own. And it was just amazing to watch his matriculation into this incredible player. And it's crazy because when you in it, you don't even realize what's going on. You don't realize that you playing with greatness, but you could see the development happening. And we had a pretty good team our junior year, and then our senior year, we just went nuts. And it was number one in the state for the whole year. Our senior year, M was doing some incredible stuff. We were having some crazy games, packed out every single game. The coaches who's who would come to all of our games, and it was just amazing, from Lefty Drizel to great Dean Smith. I mean, Terry Hollins, you name them, they were at these games. And it was amazing to see how, this new high school in the area now had this incredible amount of PR that came from, the basketball team, number one in the state. And just understanding, really didn't understand the gravity of it, and how big this thing was, because recruiting back then is not like it is now. Now it's just,
No.
I can't even, Neil, all this crazy stuff that's going on. We had no internet back then, no cell phones. So you imagine, it was all letters. It was all coaches showing up at all different types of places, because, at that time recruiting was almost, the wild, wild west. We'd be playing at the park sometime, and coaches be in the park, like behind the trees,
Right.
watching us play, trying to get your eye and this and that. And you would go around and see the coaches and just look in the crowd. And I never forget when our senior year, M signed with Carolina early, right? And I told everybody on the team, I like, listen, we all can get rides, because Mike done already locked and loaded. And we got all these coaches coming. All you got to do is just ball out, have a decent game. And everybody can't go to Carolina, but all these other schools are looking for players. I'm like, everybody could get put on. So that was my whole goal. It was like, hey, I just want to get a full ride someplace. Of course, you want to go D1. Of course, in North Carolina, everybody wanted to be ACC. But me coming from Philadelphia, I was what? Big Five. I was Villanova, I was all the schools up there. So I didn't have that ACC DNA that everybody who grew up in North Carolina or were born in North Carolina had. It was either State, Carolina, that type of thing. Me, I was like, yo, anywhere I could go and play, man, let's do it. And just some amazing
Leroy,
stories.
let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
How did the University of North Carolina invite the young guys to their youth basketball camp? Did you go? Is that where they really saw you and Michael?
I tell you, where we got seen, we went to 5-star basketball camp. All right. Now, before we went, I think it was between our senior year. So it was our junior year summer. I think it was one of the coaches. It may have been Dave Oder from East Carolina at the time, sent invites, and he sent 2 invites. We filled out the invites. Mike was gone because they at that time he was making noise, and people were like, yo, we want this kid to come to 5-star. And it was another invite. I filled it out, and we both went to 5-star basketball camp. And if you know 5-star basketball camp, they break up the time, everybody get to play, except for you got a horse. The horse on each team gets to play the whole game.
Get 3 quarters.
Get 3 quarters. My whole thing was, I got to be the horse. I got to be the horse. I got to be the horse. And so when they do the tryouts, like the night you get there, you ball and just playing. And my thing was like, I'm going to dive on the blacktop. It's going to be hot. I'm going to get scraped up, but I got to be the horse. That was my goal. M was already locked because, he coming in as, preseason All-American, all this type of stuff. And I remember when they called out the teams and they were like, the horse for whatever my team name was Leroy Smith. I was like, okay, great. One down, boom. Now, the rest of the thing was like, okay, I'm the horse now. Now I got to ball out every day. And we got, at that time, probably 10 McDonald All-Americans was at the camp that first week. And I was like, man, I gotta, if I get a chance, I gotta ball out with these guys. And if you remember, you couldn't dunk at 5-star. They were like, no dunking. But I was like, every time I get a chance, I'm a dunk. I'm gonna dunk that mess, get a tech, whatever. But you dunk and scream because the coach is gonna look. So my whole thing was like, this is my opportunity to get a ride. And then during the week, I was playing well. We were balling. Mike was doing his thing. We were playing against each other. We were playing against cats play for UNLV, Duke. Ron Harper was there. I mean, it was just Danny Mahar. It was just crazy, the names of guys who were there at that particular time. And during the week, we were playing. Thursday come around, I'm thinking, I got to make the All-Star team. I got to make the All-Star team. I got to make the All-Star team because now all 20. The coaches, I got to be there. And so Thursday, it was like championship games and all this type of stuff. And I remember we were playing outside and I got one of the moments where I was like, okay, I'm about to dunk this thing and I'm going to just hang on the rim and bam, dunk on the rim. And, my coach, they call me my first name is Harvey. So they were calling me Harvey. And he was like, don't do it, Harvey. Don't do it. And I was like, you must be out your mind. He was like, and all my teammates just went crazy, but he was like, Harvey, we're going to lose the game. I was like, hey, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get a ride. So that Friday, when they were, Garfinkel, rest his soul, he was calling out the players and he was listing players. He went through first 10, bam, these guys from everywhere. I was like, man, Mike, boom. They down to like 15 players, boom, 16 players, 17 players, 18. I'm sitting there sweating bullets. I'm like, God, please, please, please. Garfinkel goes, the first time in 5-star history ever, 2 teammates from the same team are on the All-Star team. The number 19 spot goes to Harvey's Leroy. And I almost passed out. Almost passed out, man. I was like, woo. So I made the All-Star team. At this point, I don't get 2 minutes. I don't care. We're on the squad now. Like you said, you 20 of those top guys at that camp with all those All-Americans. And I'm going to tell you guys, it wasn't because my skill set was off the charts or I could jump the highest. It was because I can't tell you how many rashes and burns I had from diving on that blacktop and just, playing as hard as I could and just willing myself to like, I gotta make this happen. And then from that time, Michael got invited back to the second week. Now he's 24 of the 25 All-Americans are coming. Everybody's on Mike. I'm talking everybody is on him. And I'm packing up my bags, getting ready to go home. I'm like, man, it was a great week. Coaches are talking to me. And it's mid D1 coaches and stuff. And I'm like, I'm stoked. I'm fired up. By the time I got home off the plane, I left, I had 2 letters, UNCW, East Carolina, right? I got back, I must have had 30, 40 letters.
Wow.
In a 7-day period. And I was like,
wow.
And phones ringing off the hook. Bam. That's how I got hooked up with North Carolina Charlotte. Coach Melvin Watkins was on me. And I had a cousin who went to UNC Charlotte, took my visits, South Florida, Penn State, just all the different schools around, went to North Carolina, Charlotte, fell in love with the campus, had a cousin there. They took care of me. It was great. Had a great time in East Carolina. That whole recruiting thing was it was a flash, you know. And like I said, 17-year-old kid, you don't know what's going on. You just everybody just, you know, you feel like you're the greatest. You go to the Coliseum, they're playing the music. UNC Charlotte had just went to the Final Four, lost to Carolina on a controversial goaltending call. I was like Cedric Maxwell. I was like, yeah, we're gonna keep this thing going. You know, I'm just geek as a kid, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna be the man here. I'm like, yes.
Juicing them up, Agee. They juicing them up.
Juice me up, man. I was like, this is gonna be great. I'll tell you a story. So I'm sitting poolside. We went to Carolina's camp, and I'm sitting poolside next to Eddie Fogler, Coach Eddie Fogler, and he's like, "Listen, kid, I don't think I've ever told the story." He said, "Listen, kid, we really like Michael. You know, we want Michael. Michael's awesome. We like you too. We can, you know, maybe get you here as well and things." And I remember looking right at him, poolside, feet in the pool. Listen, man, I want to play. When would I play if I came here? Was the question. And he was like, "Well, we got Al Wood." He started right here. Got players coming in, James Worthy, all these ballers, you know, at my spot. Cecil Exum, we played against each other in the same conference. So I know Cecil was coming there. And Cecil and I, we same size, same players and things. I was like, "Listen, man, I want to play." He said, "Well, maybe your junior year, you know, your senior year, you'll probably get, you know, a lot of minutes and things like that." But never was like, "You're going to start and you're going to be the man." So I said, "Coach, listen, I'm cool. You know, like, I'm cool. But if I can't come here and play, you know, right away, you know, develop." Again, 17, I didn't really have a good estimation about me as a baller. I said, "I want to play. Help me get someplace." And he was like, "Listen, I'll put in some words for you." And cool. And I was good at that. And then later that night, we got a chance to play against some of the Carolina players. It was myself, it was Michael, it was Linwood Robinson, who played with Cecil Exum back in the day. We played against each other. We all got to play. And I'm not sure if Buzz was there or not. May have been Buzz Peterson. I'm not really sure, but I know us three, we got to play against them. And at that point, I was like, "Woo, this is a different level." This is a different level. Number one, I got to get stronger. Number two, these boys it's a different level of game. And you know, so I narrowed it down, and you know, I chose North Carolina, Charlotte. Wake Forest was recruiting me too, and I came to Wake's campus, and it was a small campus, still a small campus. And at that point, I had gone to like some of these bigger schools, and was like, "Yo, these schools are. I want this type of life, you know, campus life." And Anthony Tichy went to Wake, and we played against Anthony Tichy when he was at Goldsboro. So, you know, I'm looking at all this type of stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to North Carolina, Charlotte. So I called them and committed to them. And, you know, it was tough as a baller, as a player. You know, our first year, coach who recruited me, he got fired after our first year. The first year we were 25th in the nation at one point. We were 15-1 before Christmas. And then we went on this skid. We were 10-1. We finished the year 15-12. So we got thumped the second half of the season. He got fired. Another coach came in, Hal Whistle. And man, it was a difficult next 3 years as a player at North Carolina, Charlotte. But I met my wife. We've been together, just celebrated 37 years together. You know, I got my children.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sir.
So it when I look back at it, man, it was all meant to happen the way it happened.
That was where you were supposed to be at.
That's where I was supposed to be, because I was trying to transfer. I was trying to go to Georgia. Coach Biedenbach, who was coaching at Georgia Tech at the time. Not Biedenbach, but it was my guy who was at Appalachian, who finished at Georgia Tech, white hair. Yeah, Bobby Crimmins. I was calling Crimmins like, "Yo, man, you wanted me at the App. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to come to Georgia Tech." And he was like, "Yeah, we got some horses down here." You know, we get John Sally, we getting all these type of cats to play. And I remember talking to my parents, and my mom was like, "Listen, get an education. They're gonna pay for your scholarship." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, you know, stay there, fight, learn some things, get your degree." And that's what I did. And it like I said, looking back now, I'm glad I made that decision. It was some tough times as a player, but it was some great life lessons. Like I said, the greatest thing came out of is the relationships that I still have from playing on a team with some incredible dudes, my wife, just lifelong friends that I still talk to. Like I said, the key still works here at the door. So
You're doing something right. You're doing something right.
She still let me hang out. So I'm fired up about that. And I got, you know, some incredible children that are now adults. So, you know, life's been great, man. And like I said,
let's
this
talk
has been
about
an
that
amazing
for a
story.
second, man. Let's talk about that a second, because you said something I think that there's a lot of athletes they struggle with.
Yeah.
When they hit that bump in the road, that adversity.
Yeah.
What I know your mom said, hey, they're paying for your education, but you still 19, 20-year-old, you still in your heart. And like I like to tell people sometimes with me, my heart can sometimes it just agrees with my mind. You know, it's like, man, if I'm mad, my heart go like, yeah, we mad. You know, then we fight. But then there are times when my mind is thinking one thing and my heart like, yeah, but this ain't what I want.
Yeah.
How did you handle and share with, you know, man, because there's a lot of athletes that struggle with, you know, they want to leave school, they can't hang in there.
Yeah.
Agee and I have even seen kids, man, where they just saying, forget it.
Yeah.
And quit.
100, man. We had a gentleman who was a McDonald's All-American and on the squad. He quit his senior year. He's like, for me, I was like, dude, you're a McDonald's All-American. You can't quit. You know what I mean? We had Mr. Kentucky. He left after his freshman year. He came in with me as a freshman. He's like, I'm out. This is crazy. And I remember my junior year, at the end of my junior year, you know, we come in and we do this coach's evaluation and this and that. And maybe it was my sophomore year. It was one of the years because the new coach was bringing in his recruits. And I remember him telling me, he's like, listen, you probably won't play much next year because I'm bringing in my kind of guys. Right. And immediately I was like, let me help you out, coach. This is what I said to him. I said, I will break everybody's legs except for 4 dudes. I'm going to play. So just understand that. That's what it's going to be. Now, that's what my mental was, right? Just crazy. So our junior year, you know, it was a struggle. We finished 8-19, something crazy like that. My senior year, we got his guys in. He's like, you know, you're not going to play. I'm going to quit the team. I went through a 2-week period. It probably was some of the darkest, just mental times of my mental as a 20-year-old kid. You know, I was drinking back then, smoking, hanging out, doing those type of things. And I remember 2-week bender, just drinking. I'm like, hey, man, forget it. If I see him in the street, it's on site. Bah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
It was like, yo, he don't know who he messing with. I ain't going to class. I ain't come here for just all of that. And I remember 2 weeks in, I woke up one day, literally sat on the side of my dorm bed. We had cool apartments, had your own room. I sat on the side and I looked and I said, I can't believe I'm letting a man, one dude, just totally control my life like this. I'm a basket case because he's living in this big old house. He making his money. He doing his thing. He ain't thinking about me. But for 2 weeks straight, all I thought about was this dude and how I could take him out, take out his kids because one of his sons played with us. I was like, how I can get away with all of that kind of stuff. And then I said, that's it. I said, that's it. And from that moment, let me tell you how it went. I went from the kid who was not going to play to being his senior captain.
Damn.
Him talking to me about who we should cut, who should play, who shouldn't play. Because I came in to practice, and this is crazy, but this is how it went. I came into practice, and he was just my day. He was just gonna go off on me. He just going off, just telling me this. Yeah, you this, you look at you messing up here. Turning the ball over. Yeah, but just crazy stuff. And I just said, that's it. Practice is over. I was yelling and screaming. I said, I want to see you. He said, I want to see you in my office. I said, no, I want to see you in your office. We went up to the office, and he sat down, and I went in slamming doors, all kinds. Just the whole sports athletic department was like, put head down, like this boy about to blow up in here. I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm going home. I can go home. My parents will pay for school. I'm on the edge of his desk, and I'm just yelling at him. I mean, I'm going there. I'm like, I can't believe. And then I said, you know what? I'm going in for everybody. I said, you talking about us like, we don't know what's going on. You on these players, you got guys quitting teams. You got all this kind of stuff. You don't know us. You got dudes from the hoods. We got dudes who parents make hundreds of thousands of dollars, doctors, lawyers, but you treating us like, I just went there. And I told him, I said, I don't need your scholarship. My parents will pay for school, and I'm out of here. Wow. Next day of practice, we sit around having a team meeting before practice. I'm thinking, I'm about to get cut. It's about to be real. I'm going to have to call mom and pops and be like, listen, y'all got to pay for school because I just blew my whole scholarship.
Yes.
He goes, the only kid in here with balls is this kid right here, Leroy Smith. He's got balls. He stood up to me. That's what I'm talking about. And just this whole mind thing, man, was just crazy. And from that moment, he made me team captain. Just like, he's some great things he said in the papers. Now, 7 games in, I get injured. I can't redshirt because we passed the limits, some redshirt limitation. So I played the whole season with torn tendons in my knees.
Wow.
Which was crazy because I was like, this is my senior year. Again, it was a 5-star moment. If I'm trying to make it to the league, I'm gonna have to play because, man, I'm not scoring a bunch of points. At my senior year, I was probably averaging 10, but I was leading. I was in the top 10 in the nation at one point in rebounding. Charles Barkley, Elijah Wine, Patrick, all those cats. My 85 was my year, and I was leading the conference in rebounding, and player of the week a couple of times with tore up knees. But we finished the season 5-23. we won our last game, right? To make us 5-23. But during that whole time, I was like, okay, here's some more adversity. I'm injured. I didn't practice the rest of the season. I just played in the games. Stretch, all this type of stuff. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I want to play. I'm hurt. What can I do? And the coach would always be like, look at this kid. His knees are dead. He's out here balling, playing as hard as he can. He's my horse. I just all this kind of stuff. So in my mental, what all of that showed me was that even in the craziest adversity, if you're true to yourself, and what you believe, and you stand up for that, at the end of the day, you sleep better at night. Because you were true to you. You did what you could. Life dealt you some crazy stuff. I didn't want to get injured. I didn't want to be 5-23. Let's win 50% of our games. We'd have 1,500 people in a 20,000 seat arena. Our biggest game was Georgia Tech, and it looked like we were in Georgia playing. Gold and black everywhere. Our colors green and white. I'm like, what's going on? And, I looked around, and all the NBA scouts are there. I'm like, where you guys been? They're like, we ain't come to see y'all. We came to see John Sally and Mark Price at that particular time. And I remember my last game, my senior year, and we played Western Kentucky. They had some horses at the time. And you, as luck would have it, come down to me hitting free throws to win the game. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I got to hit some free throws to win the game. I'm shooting 70% or so, you right? Boom, hit the first one, tie the game. I'm like, all you gotta do is hit one free throw, big dog. Just hit one free throw. Go out, win a game. Boom, 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 boom. Hit the free throw. We go crazy like we, won the championship or something. And then afterwards, they're interviewing me on the radio. And they were like, man, how does it feel? This is your last game ever. I was the lone senior because my class quit, transferred out. So I was the last senior on the team. And I told the radio guy, I said, go figure. All we got to do is win 3 more games in the conference tournament, and we're in the big dance. I said, we on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Absolutely.
8-23 going, who knew? And that was like a thing they put in the paper. I said, well, listen, we're going into the conference tournament on a winning streak. I was that dude. I always had a little comedy going on. I was like, we're on a winning streak. We're going into the conference tournament on momentum. We played VCU and got thumped by 30.
Wake up. I know they were like, wake up.
That's it. It's over. No Sports Illustrated for you guys. And I remember
the dream looked real, though.
The dream looked real, man. On the flight there, I was like hyping everybody up. All we got to do is win 3, guys. All we got to do is win 3. We're in the dance. We're in the dance. They were looking at me like, sit your hips down. It ain't going to happen. And I remember that last game, my parents came. We played in Virginia. My parents came to the game. Good game. We had dinner. They left. Boom, boom. I went to the bar at the hotel. I'm in the bar having a couple of drinks. Coach comes in and with it, what are you doing? Hey, you're breaking curfew. I'm like, bro,
Coach, it's over.
It's over, man. You want me to buy you a drink? What you doing?
That's right.
They fired him. Didn't even fly him back to school.
Wow.
Next day.
They fired him at the hotel.
At the hotel. He wasn't even on the plane. They were like, yo. I was like, yo, I saw it last night at the bar. I told him I'd buy some drinks because
I was going to say, maybe he should have had that drink.
He was there.
I think if he'd have known, he'd have had that drink.
He'd have had that drink, man. But yeah, that all of those things lends itself to life stuff, man. I mean, I could draw from all those things that happen in sports, just like you two brothers, man. Y'all know you draw on these experiences you've had, and I tell people sports is probably the best for life lessons going because you learn camaraderie, you learn how to deal with difficult personalities, you learn so much about yourself in difficult times and in great times because you still got to manage me, and when things are going great, when things are going not so great, and figure out how to just be tempered, not too high, not too low, just enjoy everything as it comes and know that after the ball stops, life goes on, man. Most guys at 21, it's over. It's you got to figure something else out,
Leroy, let me ask you this, man, because we got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, man.
I got to go here because I know our audience want to know. I want to know. Agee want to know.
Yeah.
I want to bring it a little bit back to Mike.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say this, man. Your story is incredible. First of all, just
thank you, my brother.
And we're gonna let everybody know that you got that book out there too. So that book is coming and all that good stuff. What's you and Mike relationship like in 2025? I mean, you're the inspiration, motivation, and we've never asked you this. Even when he got cut, did he pull away from you? Were y'all still cool?
Yeah.
And when y'all were playing together, were y'all cool?
Yeah.
I mean, did you get some of the Mama Jordan greens at his house?
Absolutely. I mean, we were close, all throughout high school, probably first year in college. Even when he got cut, it was 5 of us. We called ourselves the Dude Crew. It was Derek Betts, it was MJ, it was me, it was John Chisholm, and it was Andre. We were all these 5. We all played together, lived around each other. M spend the night, I spend the night at his crib, come to my house, different things like that, and that pushed us all the way through our senior year. We had a camaraderie as a team that will always exist, 17, 18-year-old kids. Life happens. I tell everybody, I said, life happens. I went to Europe and I was in Europe for 7, 8 years while MJ was becoming MJ, and again, we didn't have the internet and things like it is now. So I got all of this stuff a lot of times secondhand. God bless the NBA, because they sent me a lot of the NBA entertainment tapes and things like this, and just all the Sports Illustrated and sporting news magazines. Those things were big then, so I would get all that stuff secondhand a lot of times. And then when I came back to America, I was working for a footwear company, Asics Tiger Corporation. So I was still around basketball, handling basketball promotion for 7 years for that company. So I was still intertwined. And about that time, that's when the whole Leroy Smith, Michael Jordan story came out. So I was living this thing, and I'd see him every now and again. I'd show up at games, or I show up at the All-Star game, or pop up here, pop up there in Europe, different places, because my business took me there, and we'd hit each other. And I'd say now, we're not as close as we were when we were in high school, because life happens. I tell everybody, I said, he's a billionaire with a 200-yard yacht.
Yeah.
I'm a thousandaire with a little skiff in the back, waiting for the pool to rise up so I can float on my little float. You got different folks. But when we connect, and, every now and then we connect, it's like we go right back. You know what I'm saying? We go right back, because we were built on some foundational things that you can only develop as kids, as children, growing up to become young men. And then, like I said, life happens to you along the way, that part of that chapters in your book that you didn't have a piece of, but this story will always keep us connected. And there's some amazing moments, man, that I can never even imagine happen as a kid. And it's been an amazing ride to be connected with,
Has this been wild to you, though? Has this been wild to see?
Oh, yeah.
The level of success, not just from Michael Jordan, but the game of basketball can bring. Like,
oh yeah,
you're coming. You're the White Shadow days. It wasn't like this.
You're absolutely right. It's amazing what basketball, sports in general, but we're talking basketball. What basketball has done as far as connecting people on a global level.
Yes.
You don't have to speak the language. You all you do is roll that ball out, and you start playing with some people, and you instantly connect it. And for me, playing in Europe showed me that. I would hit some of my teammates in the back of the head because I couldn't say their names. But after a couple of weeks of playing together, that poetry on the court, that connection on the court it just happened. And to see where the game is now and how it's connected, people on ethnic, racial, spiritual, all these different levels, this game transcends that. And if we could look at sports that way, I think it'll make the world a better place, because it transcends all of that. Either you can play or you can't.
Yeah, it's kind of like music. It's like, people say music is the universal language. I think sports is too, man, because even if you can't play, it can draw you into a level of appreciation. But man. Listen, man, my dog got a final question for you. Again, I don't know if they called you Big L back in the day, but we calling you Big L.
I love it.
Man, it's your story is so amazing, man, because literally, you're like the Hallmark story, man.
I appreciate that.
From triumph to working hard. Like I played with a lot of guys, man, who worked hard to get where they were at. But it was like you're saying, they didn't have all of the necessarily talent, but their will was so much stronger that it bypassed the talent.
Yeah.
But my dog got a final question for you, man. Thank you for joining us again, man.
Thank you,
I love talking to you, Leroy. You know I do. I love talking to you, man.
100, man. We do it again. Do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, L, what I'm thinking in my head, I'm a big dreamer. I'm like, wait a minute.
Come on.
L working for Asics Tiger. Wouldn't it have been great to get a phone call from Michael Jordan and say, hey, man, I need you to come over there and help do some marketing promotions for Jordan brand, man.
That's
Come
right.
to the family.
That's right. He could have
You know
done
what I'm
that.
saying? Like that would have been a crazy match right there.
My number hadn't changed in years. It's still the same,
That's
bro.
what I'm talking about.
Hey, tell him,
Deion said, I'm easy to find. You know where I'm at.
That's what I was gonna say. Tell him, hey, I'm still up for it right now. Bygones could be bygones in the past.
Right?
For sure.
Well,
hey, I can up themselves at least 2-3%.
Right?
Hey, listen.
Put
You know they're gonna bring out the Laney Fives again. So listen.
Bring them out. Bring out the Leroy Smiths again.
Man, we didn't talk about that. Next time we're gonna talk. People know that there are some Leroy Smiths out there.
That's right. AJ1's Leroy Smiths, baby.
Hey, man. Pleasure to have you on the show, man. Love your story. Enjoy your camaraderie and everything, man. Tell the folks what's the next chapter in Leroy Smith's hoop dream.
Awesome, brother. Well, the second season of Lessons from Leroy, my podcast is popping off. Probably this Wednesday coming up. Man, what a great success. 28 countries, 250 cities. It's just been a blast, man. And for Lessons from Leroy, I'm in the process of scripting a book right now. We're working with some amazing authors. And quiet as kept, man, I'm in pre-production on another documentary type project. And the last one I did with the NBA Storyteller, which is an amazing YouTube channel and producer, we just won a Webby Award. So I was in New York for that. It's just been an amazing ride, man. And if you get a chance, check that out on the NBA Storyteller's YouTube channel. It's Leroy Smith, the Myth. And it's an amazing thing, kind of go through what we just talked about a little bit. And it just really has some moments in it. My man did a tremendous job. So I'm just living the dream, man, and you loving life, taking it one day at a time, slow and easy. I tell everybody, I said, my life is simple. I'm just trying to keep it right there. Just keep it simple.
Right there.
Keep it right there. I love
Leroy,
that.
is there a name?
Have
you got a title name for the book yet?
It's going to be Lessons from Leroy. Yeah,
okay.
we'll keep that in. Yeah, man.
Right.
And I'll update y'all on the film project as well as soon as it comes down the pike.
Please do, man. Sure. What can people find you at?
You can find me at Lessons from Leroy on all the podcast platforms. I've got Harvest at Hoop World International. That's my official company. That's what most of the things run through is Harvest at hoopworldinternational.com website there. Instagram is is the real Leroy Smith, at the real Leroy Smith. Facebook, all that stuff. I try to keep everything simple. I try to keep it simple, just so I can remember it. I got a sports scheduling app coming out called Let's Spiel. It'll probably be launched at the end of the year. Working on that. So I'm just trying to, these golden years, man. I'm 62, soon to be 63. So I'm just trying to keep the jump shot there. The legs is dead, but the jump shot's still there. Just trying to stay in this whole hoop space.
You know what they say, man? They say it's like riding a bike, man.
It's like riding a bike.
Hey, man, thank you for being on the show.